So, with the thinking going into this one, Darren, is it relatively straightforward? Do you want to take the good bits of what you saw in the second half and build upon that?
Well, that's the idea, yeah, and obviously that's what we went through this morning with the players in terms of a far better performance in the second half with a lot more energy. So that's something that we want to take into the game tomorrow, and every game for that matter.
Yeah, and with those energy levels, I suppose there are two elements to that, in that the players have an individual responsibility to hit those levels, but also if you can get the shape and the tactics as you want them, you can help those energy levels as well.
Yeah, look, first half wasn't anywhere near good enough, and sometimes it's as simple as that. There were reasons for it. We know the problem, and second half we were far better, far more on the front foot, far more shots and attempts at crosses and corners and stuff, because that's what we want to be about, you know. And so that's two first halves, opening two games that have not been to a level I would expect or want. So we've gone through that with the players, and they're fully aware of what things that need to change, and we have to change them.
Perhaps on previous occasions you might look at a game like this, particularly given it's Oxford twice over, and think, do I want to mix things up? But given the situation that you're in, is it a case of really taking what you did in that second half and trying to get a bit of consistency going into this game?
No, I think the way I treat these games is sort of the results won't play a part in it, and I understand what you're saying. We've had a couple of defeats to make sure we win. It wouldn't have mattered if we'd have won the first two games. I'd just played a similar team. It will be freshened up, it will be very strong, and it's a game I'm looking forward to. If we can do the things that I've seen in the second half, there'll be good freshness in the team, which I'm pleased about, but it'll be a strong team.
Yeah, and it's one of the things, I suppose, that makes football so fascinating. You have this challenge of getting where you want to be, and accepting that quite often to have big ideas and to change things around takes time. But as you said at the weekend, football being football, time is always of the essence.
Yeah, what we'll make sure is we don't let panic set in as such. And you know, we've had two games in the league, we've lost both, we're all disappointed with that. The sort of expectations are due to the fact that everyone is in agreement that we've signed some good players who don't become bad players overnight, certainly in 2 weeks. So I think everyone's got to remember that. I've said to the players, we need to calm down a little bit. Nothing's won or lost in the first 2 weeks of the season. We have to improve though, and I have to find a way of getting the balance better than what it has been, and hopefully we can do that tomorrow night.
Yeah, it's a crazy industry really, isn't it, where we're talking about the first week and talking potentially about pressure, and so important, particularly for your younger players or players that haven't been in this situation before, to keep that level head.
I think it's really important that, you know, we've got a new team, quite a young team, some players that haven't played at this level, and you know, my job's to make sure I help the players, but they've also got to help themselves by making sure that they apply themselves properly, and they put in the running and the energy and all the rest of it. But no one should be happy with the results, but no one also should be panicking about anything. We've got to remember that it's a long season, 10 months, and it's better to get these sort of things out the way early doors, and hopefully the biggest thing also is we know the problem, we want to solve it, and we've gone through that today in terms of, when I say the problem, in these games we've looked at it, we've analysed them, we've said, right, we haven't done X, Y, Z well enough, and we've got to make sure that we keep improving game by game, and I'm sure we will. And I'm very confident that, you know, a win will help, be great for the confidence, but as the season sort of levels off and gets into more of a routine, I think we're going to have a very good season. I'm very confident of that.
Yeah, and it's where belief and trust becomes important as well, in that you believe and trust your players and vice versa, and that can carry you a long way.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think it's important to remember that, you know, even if we'd have won the first two games, we still look at ways of how we can improve, and it wouldn't have meant, oh, the season's going to be easy. No season's like that, and I think this actual club's a good example of that, because I'm right in saying that generally the club in the last 4 or 5 years has started flying, really started well. The record in August is incredible, but never even made the playoffs. So hopefully we're doing the reverse and not starting so great but finishing strongly. And even in the times myself, looking at my previous success, I've never actually started the leagues that well, and so and I certainly feel this season we have to let the players grow. But there's one or two things that I haven't been happy with, regardless of when players come in or what shape we play. There's one or two things that I think we definitely need to improve on, and the big thing for me is the energy levels. They have to go up, and we have to find a way of getting that. And although we do a lot of work on the grass in terms of tactics and movements, the bottom line is we've got to get the fundamentals correct to give us the best chance of winning games of football.
Presumably, in an ideal world, given you had Oxford at the weekend, you probably wouldn't want them again tomorrow.
I don't think Carl wanted us either. Just for it's a bit strange, really. But anyway, that's the way the draw's gone. We have to get on with it. It made sort of today a little bit easier in terms of preparation, because we just look at Saturday's game and what we did before Saturday, and what we did well on Saturday, and also where we didn't do so well. So we've looked at all that. We've worked on things today, and we'll go down there, and it's a really important game in the sense we want to have a decent cup run.
Yeah, and one big difference, of course, all being well for Tuesday night, hopefully the conditions will be better. I know you wouldn't want to use that as an excuse from Saturday, but when you're trying to set down your blueprint, it doesn't help when you've got to take such awkward conditions into account.
Yeah, I mean, it's very open there with it, obviously one end not being covered at all, no stand. So the wind was a factor. There's not in terms of the result, but it was a factor within the game, the contents of the game, and set pieces in particular, I thought. But no, we can't use that as an excuse. But yeah, you don't know what the weather's going to be like tomorrow night. But yeah, it's going to have a good cup feel. It's a night game, a bit of dew in the grass and all the rest of it. And both teams will be trying desperately to get into the next round, because it's really important that a cup run really can help your season. Yeah,
and it's always nice with these cup games, even though it is only early season, it is do or die. You know there will be a result at the end of the night, and it adds an extra spark.
Yeah, it does. It goes to penalties. We've worked on penalties today. Obviously, we had to do that and prepare properly. So yeah, you're right. There's an end result tomorrow, which is a good thing. And listen, in any cup match you play, you've got to win it. Simple as that, or you're out. So you don't get another chance.
And in terms of the Posh fans, I know it's very early days. I think by and large they've been pretty understanding so far. Would the message be just to stick with it?
Listen, the fans have been, they were disappointed on the opening day. There was such a bit of a carnival atmosphere, because you can tell there was really optimism, and that shouldn't be altered after 2 games. There'll be things they have not liked, things that they probably think, well, that wasn't good enough. And fans are not stupid. They know, they watch the game like anyone else, and they see things that we need to improve on. But I'm also fully aware that the majority of the fans will be very patient, in the sense that, look, they're fully aware it's only 2 games in.
And it's been good with the injuries so far, still looking okay after the weekend?
Touch wood. Marcus took a slight knock to his groin, so we'll see how he is. But apart from that, no, everyone's good.